and welcome to the Silly Goose Makes podcast, a silly little podcast about my silly little crafts. My name is Alex, and I am so excited for you to join me today. I wanted to start off by saying if you see these weird red marks on me, it was a child drew on me. I am okay, but I wanted to preface with that. All right. Let's get into what I'm wearing today, which is also coincidentally my finished objects section. First, I have these little bitty bread loaf earrings that I got the charms and made into earrings. I think you saw on my last podcast a little stitch marker, progress keeper, that was from the same set of little charms, and you'll see it again today. But yes, these are my little bread earrings, and I am wearing my only finished object, my Sophie scarf / shawl. I bought the Sophie shawl pattern and I modified it to make a scarf. I just increased until I liked the thickness and then knit this very long scarf. I learned how to do the I-cord edge, which was really cool. And I knitted this in 100% cashmere that I got as a freebie from Color Mart with my first order from them. When I finished knitting it, which was actually today on the train on my way home from work, I was only left with this much yarn. I think it was probably like 25 grams that came in the sampler pack. It made this nice long scarf. And I had this much left. I could have made it longer, but I didn't want to run out when I was casting off, so I have a little bit left, and I don't know what I'll do with it, but we'll just stick that on my little scrap pile. But yes, this is her. I love her. She's beautiful. So I'm going to wear her for the podcast. Alright, now that my scarf is back on, let's talk about whips. My first whip this week is my Angels and Churches shawl by Ann Hansen. I'm knitting it in the Knit Picks Wool of the Andes sport weight in the bear color. But yeah, I have started the lace section. As you can see, hold on, that was the wrong side. No, that was the right side. This is the lace section. It's just a bunch of these little there'll be angels in churches, you'll see. But this is the little progress keeper I was talking about. It's a little toast with an egg. But yeah, it's going well so far. Of course, I'm in the middle of a round, and you can't really see the whole thing stretched out, but it's going well. It's a little challenging. It's not my first time doing lace, but it is one of the first times I'm doing lace, and definitely the first time I'm doing such an involved lace project. Each line of the pattern changes. It's charted and it's written out, which is really nice. I've just used the written instructions so far. The chart is a lot, but I'm really enjoying it. It's going to be beautiful. It already is beautiful. So hopefully after I finish up one of these next whips, I will get to work on this one a little bit more. I'm also knitting this kind of in tandem with the Collar Me Happy cowl with Young Folk Knits and the Stitches in Starlight podcast. They're great. Definitely check them out. But the Collar Me Happy cowl is for anything that goes on your neck. So any scarves or dickies or shawls, any of that counts. Cowls. So I'm knitting that for that cowl. All right, my next work in progress, you saw a little bit of a finished section last podcast, but today I have my Ingrid sweater. Ta-da! It is finished, well, the body's finished blocking. I still have to knit the sleeves, but I have started sleeve number 1. I got the little short rows done and the rib. So when I was knitting the body, I knitted this seed section just fine, no problem. Seed section? No. Double moss. I don't know what I'm talking about. I knitted the double moss just fine, but then for some reason, when I went to knit this double moss section, I just didn't look at the pattern correctly, and I made it this kind of like checkerboard pattern, I guess. I don't know what it is. But instead of doing knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, purl one, knit one, purl one, knit one, I did knit two, purl two for 2 rows, and then purl two, knit two for 2 rows, if that makes sense. So it's a little different. It makes it my own, that's for sure. But I decided on the sleeves I would do the same pattern because I liked it. It looks nice. And I also didn't want to have 2 different patterns in such close proximity. So yes, so I have finished the first 2 sections and I'm on to the cabling. Oh no, and I'm dropping stitches because I am using the teeniest, tiniest little needles I have ever used. There's some little bitty 12-inch needles, little circulars, the Addy fixed needles. I really like them though. I was really worried for a little bit that I'd gotten the wrong size needle and that they would be too small and that my hands would not adapt to the little bitty circumference, but I've actually really enjoyed them. The sleeve, I have just the perfect number of stitches that I don't really have to push the stitches too much, and I don't have to use the magic loop, which is great because I cannot stand the magic loop. So I've got just the perfect amount of stitches to go right around the needles, and I did have needle stoppers. I don't know where they are. They're not in my knitting bag. I'm a little worried I've lost them. We'll see. But I don't think the stitches will fall off. And if they do, it's not a difficult fix. But here she is, very excited. I have made it a goal for myself. I'm filming this on Friday. I have made it a goal for myself to finish this for my birthday on Wednesday because I really want to wear it and I really want to get it off the needles. I want it to be over. I have other things I want to work on. I've really, really enjoyed knitting the Ingrid sweater, but it needs to be done. So hopefully, no, not hopefully, it will be done by Wednesday. It will be washed and blocked and ready to be worn by Wednesday, and that is a promise. All right, my last work in progress is not even technically a work in progress. It is a soon-to-be work in progress. That is the Gothic Angel Shawl by Boo Knits. I am super excited to knit this. It's going to be a wedding gift for the pastor of my church. He's great, and I think he deserves a really nice shawl for getting married. I'm knitting the shawl in this 100% lace weight cashmere from Color Mart, which is actually, this order is when I got the wool for my Sophie scarf shawl thing. But it came in that order. It's so small. I have never used yarn this small to make anything, much less an all-over lace shawl pattern. So I'm a little intimidated, I'm not gonna lie. But hopefully it goes well. I need to get on that because I have to have this done by mid-April, and it is already the start of March and I have not cast it on. And I've never knit an all-over lace item. So I really don't know how this is gonna go, but I'm going to push myself. It's gonna get done. All of my other whips are gonna take a back seat. So after I cast off my Ingrid sweater, it's time for this. We're gonna start it and it's gonna get done by mid-April. Okay, so now I want to talk about my acquisitions. Let's see. Okay, so as an early birthday gift, my sweet, sweet partner got me the Mindfulness of Knitting, Meditations on Craft and Calm by Rachael Matthews. And it's all about mindfulness and well-being in knitting, which is great. I'm so excited to read it because knitting has been a huge part of my mental health journey and keeping me sane. So I can't wait to start this. I'm going to start it soon, but I'm like trying to get this Ingrid sweater done, get this other shawl started. We'll get there. But thank you, Amira. I'm very excited to read it. And my next acquisitions were my own birthday gift to myself, a bit of an early birthday gift, but I got, first off, a neck light. I'm going to turn it on close your eyes, so I can knit in the dark, which is going to be especially useful for the Gothic angel shawl because it's all over the place, and I knit a lot in my bed at night, as I'm sure many of you do, and I'm going to need to see really well for that lace. So very excited about my little neck light. My next acquisition is my Yarn Swift. I am so thrilled about the Yarn Swift. It's just the Knit Picks basic Yarn Swift, but it works like a charm. It squeaked a little bit when I was using it the first time, but I used some beeswax coconut oil leather conditioner that I made, and I just like rubbed that on it, and that really helped the squeaking go down, so not even a problem. But I caked up these yarns that you saw last time, so those are ready to go. But yeah, I love the Yarn Swift. It works like a charm, and it makes caking things up way faster and way easier. I also bought, when I got the little needles for my Ingrid sleeves, I got some yarn elastic. I got some elastic thread that I'm going to put through the collar and the cuffs on my Ingrid sweater, and probably any other sweaters I make, just to kind of help them keep their shape. Yeah, it's just elastic thread, nothing special. I also have some more yarn for my Ingrid sweater on the way because, once again, it eats up yarn like nobody's business. So I had to order some more skeins. I got 4. I don't think I need 4 by any means. I still have 1 left, and I'm already on the first sleeve, so I think it'll be fine, and I'm just paranoid, but I got extra, so I will not run out. Yeah, that's on its way. Okay, my last update is I'm starting a craft group with my friends, and I'm very excited about it. I mentioned in my previous podcast that I was going to make a big hat tube with all of this yarn that I had that I didn't know what to do with. Some of it is scrap yarn, some of it is leftover, some of it I have no idea where it came from, and it just wound up in my stash. Some of it is gifted, and I want to make a hat. I think it'll make a nice hat, but I have so many other projects going on, and I just want to get my stash pared down. So I still may make the hat tube, but I think I'm going to save a lot of that yarn for the craft group that we're having. That way people who need some practice yarn can use that up, or if they don't have any yarn themselves, no stash, they can just take whatever. So some of that will still potentially become a hat at some point, but a lot of that is going to go to the craft group. Well, I think that is pretty much everything I have for this podcast. It is so much shorter than the last podcast. Yeah, thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching along. I hope that you are having a great day wherever you are. If you need some more fiber artists to check out, my last podcast at the very end, there's a huge section where I talk about all of my favorite podcasters. Please go watch them. They're all wonderful. There's plenty of people to suit your style or taste. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm so glad we got to hang out. Have a silly day.